welcome to my speech. The specific purpose for my speech is to inform you on how serious child abuse is, and being able to have the knowledge on this could be helpful. Now that you know the purpose for my speech, let's start off with my introduction. What if I told you that I was abused as a child? Would you look at me differently? Well, the truth is, I was a victim of child abuse at a very young age. And for many years, it took a lot of courage to be able to stand up and talk about this with somebody else. I felt so ashamed and different from everyone around me. I was also afraid that people would look at me differently once I had told them. Now that I have shared some information about my childhood, I would like to inform you with facts and details about child abuse, what signs to look for in abused children, and how you can help to prevent it. Therefore, I have shared some information about myself. Let's move on to informing you with facts and details about child abuse. Did you know that in the year 2013, there was a total of 678,932 victims of child abuse reported to the Child Protective Services? Also, 1 in 4 children will experience some sort of child abuse in their lifetime. Physical, sexual, emotional, and neglect are all different types of child abuse that can occur. Most of the time, a child abuse predator is known to the family in some way. Most importantly, child abuse is when someone at any age harms a child in any way possible. Children who are abused are more likely to be involved in criminal activity 9 times more than any other child. A study showed that about 80% of 21-year-olds who have experienced child abuse had at least one psychological disorder. Now this graph here shows child maltreatment rate by age in 2013. As you can see, a 0 to 3-year-old is up pretty high, but a 16 through 17-year-old is not. This graph here is the number of child deaths per day due to child abuse and neglect. From 1995 to 2007, you can see it's gotten very high. This right here informs you with physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and neglect. This picture right here shows you 16 different ways that you can abuse a child. And this graph is predators known to the family. As you see, an unknown predator is only at 1%, but an adult child is at 40% and a spouse is at 15%. In this table is risk factors for child abuse. As you can see, there's quite a bit. And this one is facts about child maltreatment. Child maltreatment remains a serious problem in the United States. This picture is according to the 2006 CPS study that 64 children suffered from neglect, 16% of children suffered from physical, 9% of children suffered from sexual, and 7% children suffered from emotional. And this picture at the bottom is race of victims. As you see, that not only white people get abused, but a whole bunch of different races do too. Although you know some facts and details about child abuse, let's start discussing the signs to look for in abused children. To start with, more signs can be obvious than others. Children could have changes in behavior and sleeping habits as well. Children could have a fear of returning home or leaving with an abusive predator. You may notice unexplained bruises on a child in which they may tell you they don't remember how they got there. Children could start performing inappropriate sexual behaviors, and they also could have frequent nightmares. As a result of knowing some signs in abused children, let's continue with how you could help to prevent it. In any child abuse case, calling the police or your local child protective services could have the best results. If you are a teacher, you could always talk with the school principal after school hours about the situation. On the other hand, if you think someone is abusing your child, you can take many steps in preventing your child to have any contact with the child abuse predator. Informing a child that you believe them could also be helpful in an abusive situation. Although my speech is almost over, let's finish it off with my ending conclusion. In conclusion to my speech, I informed you with facts and details about child abuse, what signs you should look for in abused children, and how you can help to prevent it. After my incident, as a child, my mother did not report it to the police because I said no. Yes, I was afraid of my abusive predator, but I do believe that if my mother would have done the right steps in protecting me, my abusive predator would not be living the lifestyle she is today, especially with children of her own. Just take a moment and think about how you would feel if your child was being abused and everyone around you just walked away. Would you be upset? Thank you for watching my speech.